Shalom, Yahweh Shem Yahshai Barakatah to the brothers, Yahweh Shema Alathah Shem Yahshai to the sisters. This is the ISUPK history class. We're going to be wrapping up the part 2 of the history of Passover, and seeing that we are in the Feast of Unleavened Bread for the next, I believe, 6 days. The Feast of Unleavened Bread is 7 days. It started yesterday. Seeing that we are in the Feast of Unleavened Bread, we're going to be going into what the Feast of Unleavened Bread is, and also a little breakdown on what the metaphor of unleavened is, right? So this is the ICPK history class, right? We just celebrated an amazing Passover. If you're on Facebook, you might be watching some of the clips, and you might be seeing. You could go to ISUPK Canada on Facebook and see Commandant General Yohana speaking, right? And if you weren't able to make it to Texas for the Passover, man, you missed it. But we were there with our brothers in spirit, right? Our oppressors are scared, and they're basically making it very hard for us to do the things that we want to do. But we were there with our brothers in spirit, right? And that the Passover, it looked amazing, right? All the brotherhood, like there were clips where you seen thousands of brothers and sisters, right? And if you're on Facebook and you follow the UPK on Facebook, you see the brotherhood, right? And the sisterhood. We do say brotherhood a lot, but brotherhood does encompass sisterhood, right? Because you can't build a nation without the woman, right? And Salaki, I don't know about any of y'all. I can speak for Shariwan though, right? We don't want a kingdom of heaven without women.
Right.
Like it don't make sense, right? We need the ribs. We need our sisters, right? We need the woman in our kingdom with us. That's how we continue our nation, right? So as you come in, hit the like button. If you're watching on your phone, just hit that like button, right? If you want to be a brother or sister in the school, hit these signing links, right? Get you a Hebrew name and get you a little slice of heaven. Salakia, let me mute my phone so we don't have those interruptions. Salakia. Right, so we're going to be reading in Exodus up to the last plague, right? And we're going to be reading how the Lord, he could have let Pharaoh free us up after the first plague, but that's not what he wanted. He wanted us to know that we can't do anything without him, and that's how it is today, right? Everybody was watching Derek Chauvin, or I don't know how to say that devil's name, but the devil who murdered our brother George Floyd. Everybody was watching his trial, right? And everyone was like, yeah, the guilty verdict came in. And we basically did the reverse OJ, right? And when I say we, I encompass all Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. I don't separate myself, even though the ISUPK, we are basically separate. We don't do what the rest of our people do, right? We uphold this our history book and our father's laws, right? But I say we because we're in this together. That guilty verdict came in. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, they jumped in joy, thinking they got a piece of justice, right? That's to let you know Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans don't get any justice. So we get a little sprinkle of justice, and we think that we got justice. And shortly after, and on the same day, brothers and sisters are still being shot by police. A young girl was murdered by the police, right? And our oppressor, he just likes to kill us. He just wants us in captivity. So the Lord's letting you know, you think you got a little piece of justice, but you didn't get anything. You could have you think you got justice, and the Lord shows you that the justice that you think you're getting, you didn't get anything, right? That's why we're still being murdered in the streets till this day. The Lord basically did that with the Israelites, with our forefathers in Egypt, where he could have let Pharaoh go, let us go, but he wants us to come back to him. He wants us to know that we didn't get we didn't free ourselves on our own, right? We did not free ourselves on our own. We needed the Lord to free us. It's just like right now. No matter what we do, no matter how many rifles you put in the streets and how many men you dress in all black with rifles, you are not going to get free. All you're going to do is shoot yourself, right? All what we need to do is turn back to the most high power, right? And that's how we come get out of our captivity. Right? So we're only going to get out of our captivity if we turn back to the Most High, our power. So again, hit that sign-in link, like, subscribe, and share this video. Right? And if you can, make some unleavened bread. Eat some unleavened bread with that honey. That
Right.
unleavened bread is very sweet. I don't know about Officer Shaywan. I could only imagine. Like the unleavened bread we had, it didn't last. It didn't last long, man.
Right.
Even a good chef, you gotta test what you're making, right? So I make,
Yeah.
and I'm like, let me just try. Wait, I gotta stop. I almost
God.
turned into the unleavened bread monster.
Right.
Like Cookie Monster. Once he gets that first cookie, you can't stop, man. Salakia. Don't ask me how I know about Cookie Monster. I'm an '80s baby, right?
Gosh.
So for the next 6 days, eat some unleavened bread. This is the feast of unleavened bread, right? Enjoy the unleavened bread. Spend time with your brothers and sisters, and remember what it was like for your forefathers when they were making it out of Egypt, when we had to just pack up everything, right? A little history on. Well, we'll get into the history on unleavened bread and break that down in a second, right? But we're gonna jump right back into it. Baba Kasha, can you bring me to Exodus 10 and 14? Right, so we're going to get right back into it. This is the history class, so we're going to be going into our history and breaking down how we got out of Egypt, right? And don't ever think that you will fight this oppressor on your own. The oppressor has drones, he has satellites, he has missiles and thermonuclear warheads that they're about to launch any day now. They're about to go to war any day now, right? And we're just waiting. We're just waiting for them to start fighting each other, so Yahushua can bring the angel and the Lord's army and come and get us. Right? So whenever you're ready, Ak.
Okay. This is Exodus chapter 10 and 14. And the locusts went up over all the land of Egypt and rested in all the coasts of Egypt. Very grievous were they. Before them there were no such locusts as they, neither after them shall be such.
Right? So this is a locust that came and it decided it was eating everything. Right? Shalom, Officer Yarad, the water for checking in. Right, this locust, it was grievous. It was eating everything. It's not like what you see today, right? Even today though, a swarm of locusts can devour a crop. If you're a farmer and you see a swarm of locusts, your heart drops, because a farmer survives off his crop, right? And that locust, it will eat everything. And this locust that the Lord sent, the Lord sent this locust, and it was grievous. It was devastating Egypt. right? You can continue reading.
Verse 15. For they covered the face of the whole earth, so that the land was darkened, and they did eat every herb of the land, and all the fruit of the trees, which the hail had left. And there remained not any green thing in the trees, or in the herbs of the field, through all the land of Egypt.
Right. So there was a before the locust, there was a few plagues, right? There was frogs, the river turned red, right? There was fleas or flies, there was hail, a hailstorm that was destroying crops, right? Just like rain, hail comes out of nowhere. And hail could be the size of pebbles, hail could be the size of golf balls. A few years ago, California had a massive hailstorm where it was like the size of golf balls, some hail the size of basketballs, destroying everything. And if you got caught out, Lord be with you. You gotta get in this truth if you survived it, right? And what the hail didn't destroy, the locust did, right? They ate everything. This locust ate everything in sight. Read.
Verse 16. Then Pharaoh called for Moses and Aaron in haste, and he said, I have sinned against the Lord your God and against you. Verse
Right.
17.
You can continue reading. Baruch
Come,
Shah.
come. Now therefore forgive, I pray thee, my sin only this once, and entreat the Lord your God, that he may take away from me this death only.
Right. So this plague, it made Pharaoh say, well, damn, right? I could only say it the way we grew up, we're black Hispanics and Native Americans, we grew up with flavor. The Pharaoh said, well, damn, like what is going on? Like I trespassed against you and forgive me, right? And he's trying to get some mercy, a smidge. He's trying to get just a dash of mercy because he's starting to realize that the most high power, the God of the Israelites, right, the 12 tribes, is not to be played with, right? And even today you can see that every pharaoh in every land, they're realizing that the most high power is not to be played with, but they're not going to free up the children of Israel, right? But they are running scared because of the most high power, right? uh Salakia, can you read, can you, Baba Kasha, can you read 17 and 18?
Come, come.
I
Verse
gotta
7.
step off for one quick second. Just read 17 and 18, and then you could break that down. I'll be back in like 2 seconds, Baba Shah.
Come, come. Verse 17. Now therefore give, I pray thee, my sin only this once, and entreat the Lord your God, that he may take away from me this death only. Verse 18. And he went out from Pharaoh and entreated the Lord. So Salakia, I'm just going to look up that word entreated in verse 18. So the Hebrew word for entreat here is athar, which means to pray, entreat, supplicate, a primitive root to burn incense in worship, that is, intercede, entreat. So the brother from here, he went away from Pharaoh, and he went to pray to the Lord, right? He went to inquire of him, to pray to him, to burn incense to him, basically to speak to the Most High. Um,
Right.
like you. That was
Thwada.
that was just from verse 18.
Con. Right. So you could read 19.
Come.
Before you do, Ak, Thwada for that, for breaking that down, Thwada for holding it down. Anybody watching, don't forget tonight is Monday night. You know what happens Monday night after the history class. Black Watch. The heavy hitters, Commanding General Yohana, he's gonna be with the heavy hitters for Black Watch, right? You go check out Black Watch. Make sure you thumb up this video. Make sure you sign in to get the Hebrew benefits, and then go hit up Black Watch. Right around 9 o'clock tonight, go hit up Black Watch. Salakia, let me get out a quick edit. But Salakia, you could read verse. Where were we at? 19.
Come.
Thuwada.
Verse 19. And the Lord turned a mighty strong west wind, which took away the locusts and cast them into the Red Sea. There remained not one locust in all the coasts of Egypt.
Right. So the Lord took away the locust for a second, right? He took away the plagues. But the Lord's not done. He wants you to know. He wants you to see his power. Don't forget that the Lord is a jealous power, right? The Lord, that the man of war, he knows excellent war strategy, right? And if you think that you could do anything without him, you just got to go back and read your history book, Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Read your history book and see war strategy, right? He wants you to know that you can't do anything without him. You can continue reading.
Verse 20. But the Lord hardened Pharaoh's heart, so that he would not let the children of Israel go. Verse
All right.
21.
Read 21, Baba Kasha.
Come. And the Lord said unto Moses, Stretch out thine hand toward heaven, that there may be darkness over the land of Egypt, even darkness which may be felt.
Right. So the Lord was sending more plagues, right? More plagues and more darkness. Right? Hey, shalom, brother. Shalom, Yah. Shalom, brother. Thawada for tuning in. This is an excellent class. Um, hopefully we get to, as soon as the oppressors stop the provincial roadblocks, we can link up, and we'll all link up out in the east. We'll all link up, and we'll get to meet up one day. All right. Thawada for tuning in. Right. So the Lord set up a darkness over the land, and this darkness happened for. You read verse 21.
Come.
Read 22, Baba Kasha.
Come. And Moses stretched forth his hand toward heaven, and there was a thick darkness in all the land of Egypt 3 days.
Right. So for 3 days it was dark. Right now, you just imagine 3 days of darkness, of just straight darkness, and these are the plagues that the Lord sent, because He wants you to know that, again, Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, you're going to continue in in oppression. You're going to be continue to be oppressed until you come back to the Lord. The Lord's not no punk, right? If you listen to a Christian will tell you that the Lord is a punk. They'll say that the Lord flooded the earth because of sin, but now it's okay to sin. They'll say you don't have to listen to this, to the Most High Power. Um, can you read verse 24?
Come. And Pharaoh called unto Moses and said, Go ye, serve the Lord. Only let your flocks and your herds be stayed. Let your little ones also go with you.
right? So now Pharaoh, he's telling Moses, listen, y'all could go, but I got a condition, right? Pharaoh Pharaoh thinks that the Israelites are just gonna go, and he knows that if we go, we're basically gone. At this point, we're gone, right? So he's trying to make sure that we come back. They want to keep us in servitude, just like our oppressors do right now. They don't. Let's just break this down, right? Our oppressors are so rich that they're every Black, Hispanic, and Native American, right? We could be, not to say rectified, but they could, if they didn't want us in poverty, we wouldn't be in poverty, right? Jeff Bezos has $100 billion, 100+ billion. His wife has just down near the same amount, right? There's not 100 billion people in the earth. There's definitely not 100 billion Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, especially because they flood our communities with drugs, with crime, with poverty, right? So if they wanted to make sure that we weren't killing each other because of poverty, they can make that happen, right? They could set up every Black, Hispanic, and Native American with wealth, so we're not living in poverty. But here's the kicker: the Lord does not want that to happen, right? Unless you come back to Him, He wants you to gain wealth in His favor. He wants you to gain the kingdom of heaven, right? He wants the kingdom of heaven to be built on earth by our oppressors. So with that, you have to come back to the Most High, right? Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans are still going to be marching, are still going to be saying hands up, don't shoot, 1492 Land Back Lane, until we come back to the Most High. You can continue reading, and if
Um,
anytime you want to add on, you could jump in on it.
Salaki, so if I could say one thing,
Khan.
just off of what you were saying, I thought was interesting is that a lot of people don't understand how the Most High works, right? Like
Right,
the Most High says He kills and makes alive.
right,
And if you look at just every day, the Most High has no problem with death. He has no problem taking someone's life.
right,
Right? Like people die every day, animals die every day. So when it comes to serving the Most High, like you either obey or you don't. And if you're
right.
not going to obey Him, like you're gonna get punished, right?
Damn right, damn right, damn right.
Yeah.
Right. I was talking to a Benjamite brother at my slavery, and he said to me, "Can you?" Because he's a Christian, right? He's afraid, and he said, "Can you guarantee me that if I take the vaccine, that I won't die?" So I said to him, "Can you guarantee me that if you jump in your car and you start driving on the highway, you're not gonna die?"
Right.
He said, "No, no, 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 no. That's not what we're talking about." I said, "Listen, if you want the cure for COVID, right?" I told him about the school, and I said, "You got to stop sinning. You got to get in this school and stop sinning." He said, "I don't sin." I said, "I just like we're at slavery. I'm not trying to get too much into it because I got like it's a slavery, you know."
Con.
So, but basically, like that's what it is. The Lord killeth and maketh alive. As you said, a bird won't fall from the sky unless the Lord okays it,
Right.
right? And that's what Passover means, right? That's what the Feast of Unleavened Bread is for us. It's to remind us that the only way we're going to get out of captivity is to turn to the Lord. Damn near all our feast days are memorial days of the Lord destroying our oppressors. If you think about Hanukkah, if you think about Slovakia, Hanukkah is us battling the Greeks,
Right.
right? Passover is us battling them filthy Africans that had us in slavery, right? Um, Purim is when that Amalekite tried to have our whole nation killed with the gallows that he built, and the he basically put a hit out on us,
Right.
right? So all our damn near all our memorial days are days of remembering that the Lord destroyed our enemies.
Right.
Right? The Lord will raise up a brother to show us the right way and destroy our enemies. Right? So Barakatha Yahweh for commanding General Yohana and the generals that are under him.
Right.
Right. Where did we leave off? Uh,
Salaki, verse 25.
Khan, you could read verse 25. Khan, yeah, we just finished 24. You could read 25.
Come, come. And Moses said, Thou must give us also sacrifices and burnt offerings, that we may sacrifice unto the Lord our God.
Go ahead.
Verse 26. Our cattle also shall go with us. There shall not an hoof be left behind, for thereof must we take to serve the Lord our God. And we know not with what we must serve the Lord until we come thither.
Right. So we didn't know, like, this is, we just became a nation, right? And our nation is so far removed from what Abraham was doing, right? We didn't know exactly what we're gonna have to go into the wilderness and do and sacrifice for the Lord. We just knew we needed to take our cattle with us, right? Because we're gonna have to make some sacrifice. That's what this whole thing was about. Moses first went saying, "Yo, free us up for 3 days. Give us 3 days, right?" And this brings a heavy point. Right now in our captivity, we do exactly what Moses did, where we go to the oppressor and say, "Boss," right? And that's definitely a word I hate to say, right? But we go to the oppressor and we ask our supervisor for 2 days off so we could celebrate Purim. We ask for a couple days for us to leave early from work so we can make that trip out to Montreal to go wake up our brothers and sisters, right? And our oppressors, they don't want us to do that, right? Back when we had our kingdom, we never had to ask an oppressor for a day off. Our employer, if we weren't employed by ourselves, if we did have an employer, it would have been a brother. The brother already knew the law of the Lord, and he already knew this is when we had our kingdom, right? The land of Israel. He already knew, like, yeah, yo, this is the Sabbath. They get that off. This is a Memorial Day. Everyone's not going to be working. Right now, in our oppression, we have to ask and damn near beg an oppressor for just a couple hours off work early so we can make it to Montreal. We gotta damn near beg and ask for just a day off so we could go and give not sacrifice, but we could celebrate our high holy days and our memorial days.
Right.
Right. You can continue reading. I think you were reading 20. You finished 26.
Come, come. Verse 27. But the Lord hardened Pharaoh's heart, and he would not let them go.
Right. The Lord hardened Pharaoh's heart. So he wants you to, as I said, I'm going to keep saying this. The Lord wants you to know that you cannot do anything without him. Right. You can read verse 11 and 1.
Come, come. This is Exodus chapter 11 and verse 1. And the Lord said unto Moses, Yet will I bring one plague more upon Pharaoh and upon Egypt. Afterwards he will let you go hence. When he shall let you go, he shall surely thrust you out hence altogether.
Right. So the Lord's basically saying this last plague that I'm going to send on Egypt and on Pharaoh's house, it's going to be so devastating that Pharaoh's going to throw you out of Egypt. He's not going to want nothing to do with you.
Right.
Right? And you got to think about it like something that you're not supposed to be doing, right? When Salaki, I'm trying to think of it the best way. Just something that you're not supposed to be doing. Once you realize that it's bad, you don't ever want to do it again. Right? And that's what Pharaoh's about to realize. You can read verse 2.
Come. Verse 2. Speak now in the ears of the people, and let every man borrow of his neighbor, and every woman of her neighbor, jewels of silver and jewels of gold.
Right? Get that gold and jewelry so you could dress up. You could look beautiful in the sight of the Lord. Just like what we do for Passover now. Right? Damn near, I don't know, man. If you're following the ISUPK on Facebook, this was the year of the grills, right? And not the grill that the lamb was on, the
Okay.
grills that the when your cheeks are calmly with jewels, right? This was the year of the grills. Down there, every brother had grills, right? And they were flying. If you see some of the pictures, oh man, that was an event to be at, right? Lord willing, Canada will make it to the next Passover, right? If Yahushua doesn't come by then, Lord willing, right? You can 1 second. Take me to read verse 4.
Come. And Moses said, Thus saith the Lord, about midnight will I go out into the midst of Egypt. Verse 5. And all the firstborn in the land of Egypt shall die,
Shall live,
shall die,
will be happy,
shall die.
right? How does a Christian say that the Lord loves everybody when the Lord said, read that one more time?
And all the firstborn in the land of Egypt shall die.
Right. So Christians will tell you that the Lord loves everybody when the Lord said to Moses, I'm about to kill the firstborn of Egypt, from the baby to the old man to the cattle. You can continue reading.
From the firstborn of Pharaoh
Right?
that sitteth upon his throne, even unto the firstborn of the maidservant that is behind the mill,
Right.
and all the firstborn of beasts.
From the babies to the cow, the Lord's going to slaughter. That's letting you know the Lord doesn't love everybody. Like, you could think that the Lord loves everybody, but he doesn't. You go to Ezra's, if you precept for that is second Ezra 6 and 56. The Lord thinks that other nations are spittle. He thinks they're nothing.
Right.
Precept Deuteronomy 28 and 1. The Lord said if we keep his commandments, we'll be high above all the nations of the earth. There's no equality in the Bible. You could see it in throughout nature. There's no such thing as equality, right? There's people that are above and people that are supposed to be ruled over, right? The lion chases the gazelle. It's not the opposite way. The gazelle doesn't say, listen, this is not fair. He says, I gotta run for my dang life, right? Read verse 4. Oh, Salakia, that was. Can you read verse 6, Baba Kasha?
Come. Verse 6. And there shall be a great cry throughout all the land of Egypt, such as there was none like it.
Right. There's going to be so much pain in the land of Egypt that the Egyptians and filthy Hamites, they're going to start crying. Right? They're going to be in mourning. Right? This has never happened before. Right? Even in the time of Joseph, when they were going through famine, it didn't happen like that. right? And they're going to be like, damn, what the hell is going on? And you're going to hear, perfect example. Think about it. Think about a big concert, right? Think about a big concert when the artist performing, he speaks to the crowd and he says, everybody say yeah. And you hear the whole crowd say yeah, right? Now reverse that, but make it sorrowful. Make it mourning. That was what was heard in Egypt. Everywhere you went, you heard crying. And Egypt never seen that before,
Right.
right? And that was the Lord showing his power. Read.
Verse 7. But against any of the children of Israel shall not a dog move his tongue, against man or beast, that ye may know how that the Lord doth put a difference between the Egyptians and Israel.
Right? So the Lord doeth put a difference between the Egyptians and Israel. Right? That's letting you know that the Lord has a chosen people. You are not the same. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native American, no matter what the oppressor tells you, you are not African. You are not a Kemite. You are not Cometian. You don't have unks. You don't we don't do none of the Hamite customs, right? You go down to like go down to Jamaica and tell one of the women or one of the men, yo, we got to put this little cut in your face to tell you about what tribe you're from. And the Jamaicans are going to look at you like you're crazy. They're going to say, okay, 1 second, hold up. Oh, well, go on, let me just go get my little cutlass and I'll come in right back.
Okay.
And you're going to find yourself confettied. You're going to be cut up to confetti, right? Da 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 da. Where are we? You
Salakis.
could, Khan.
Salakis. So at the start of verse 8.
Yeah. Oh, Khan. No, I was just looking for something right quick.
Okay.
You could read verse 9.
Khan. Verse 9. And the Lord said unto Moses, Pharaoh shall not hearken unto you, that my wonders may be multiplied in the land of Egypt.
Right? His plagues will be multiplied in the land of Egypt. Pharaoh's not going to listen. That's how the Lord wanted it. He wants blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans to understand and know that without the Most High power, without Yahweh, you can't do nothing. You're just going to continue being shot down in the streets. It's going to be continue of hands up, don't shoot while you walk down the street with the oppressors. And as you vote for your favorite oppressors, and as you keep going through the same oppression, right? You could take me to uh, Exodus 12, verse 2, right? Little context. Now, the Lord is speaking to Moses and Aaron, and he's about to tell them a few things, right? You could read verse 2 in chapter 12.
Khan. This is Exodus chapter 12 and verse 2. This month shall be unto you the beginning of months. It shall be the first month of the year to you.
Right. So Passover is the first month of the year, right? Passover happens in the first month of the year, right? That's a cut to the Christians and their the dead of winter New Year's. That is not what the Bible says. If you're Black, Hispanic, and Native American, and you just so happen to tuned in right now, and you just so happen to be watching this, and your pastor tells you New Year's is January 31st, run out of that church, find the ISUPK, get in contact your camp leader, hit isupk.com, find a number and contact your camp leader.
Right.
Right? You can read verse 4.
Khan.
Salaki, read verse 3.
Khan. Speak ye unto all the congregation of Israel,
Right.
saying, in the 10th day of this month, they shall take to them every man a lamb, according to the house of their fathers, a lamb for an house.
Right. So now every man has to get themselves a lamb. Right. Read verse 4.
Verse 4. And if the household be too little for the lamb, let him and his neighbor next unto his house take it according to the number of the souls. Every man according to his eating shall make your count for the lamb.
Right. So if I have a lamb and I live by myself, call Shariwan and say, yo, Ak, what's going on? Y'all got lamb over there? Listen, I got a whole lamb. It's be me by myself.
Right.
Make some unleavened bread. I'm forwarding. How long is the drive? Don't worry about it. I got the lamb. I'm coming. You just get the unleavened bread. Verse 5.
Your lamb shall be without blemish, a male of the first year. Ye shall take it out from the sheep or from the goats.
Right. So you want a perfect lamb, right? And this is a perfect precept for Christ, because Christ became our lamb, right?
Right.
Christ became our lamb and he had no blemish. He had no sins on him, right? Read verse 6.
Verse 6. And ye shall keep it up until the 14th day of the same month. And the whole assembly of the congregation of Israel shall kill it in the evening.
7. Read verse 7, Baba Kasha.
Verse 7. And they shall take of the blood and strike it on the two side posts and on the upper doorposts of the houses wherein they shall eat it.
Right. So in this time, you would take the blood of the lamb and you would strike it on your doorpost, right? And you would mark your house, right? This was to happen because the angel of death is about to pass over Egypt, and the houses with the blood are going to be passed over. That's how we get the Passover,
Right.
right? And we were going to eat this lamb, right? We were going to go to our brethren's house if we had too big of a lamb and you had too small of a family, and you would share with your brethren and your sisterin, right? That's what the Passover was as well. It was brotherhood.
Right.
Moses had brotherhood, right? Moses and Aaron, he came back from off the run, right? Moses had a warrant, right? Moses had a warrant and he came back from off the run to put in some work for his brothers and sisters. You can read verse 8.
Con. And they shall eat the flesh in that night, roast with fire.
Right, hold that right there. You're not to boil your lamb. There is a perfect recipe for for the lamb, and you got to be in the ISUPK to understand, right?
Right.
Like, you're not going to get that recipe unless you're in the ISUPK. You have to understand there is a way that the Lord wanted you to do things, right? You roast that lamb with fire, right? Read.
And unleavened bread, and with bitter herbs they shall eat it.
Right, with a little bit of garlic and thyme and the bitter herbs, right? Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans know how to cook, know how to season their food. And that's what we are doing right here. We were cooking and seasoning our food. Slovakia. You can jump to verse 12.
Con. Verse 12. For I will pass through the land of Egypt this night, and will smite the firstborn in the land of Egypt, both man and beast. And against all the gods of Egypt I will execute judgment. I
Right?
am
So
the Lord.
Khan, the Lord was about to execute judgment on Egypt, right? For all the crime that they've done to us, right? This is This we are in modern day Egypt right now, a house of bondage, right? That's what blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans go through. And if you don't believe that the land that we're in right now is modern day Egypt, just type in on your Google machine Wet'suwet'en strong. Just type in, and even though we don't support anything outside of the ISUPK, just look at what black people have been doing. They started a whole movement called Black Lives Matter. Unfortunately,
Right.
right, without the Lord, Black Lives Matter ain't doing nothing for you. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans are still struggling and dying and being murdered, while the sister who coined the phrase Black Lives Matter, she just bought a mansion.
Right.
Right? She just bought a mansion. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, you're just still suffering. That's it. You're happy that a devil got convicted when devils should have been getting convicted, right? Derek, that devil that killed George Floyd, he's supposed to get the death penalty, right? Look how many blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans get the death penalty for crimes they didn't commit. And we just watched a man intentionally murder a man on camera, right? He's supposed to get the death penalty,
Come on.
right? Can you read 14, Baba Kasha?
Come on. Come on. And this day shall be unto you for a memorial, and ye shall keep it a feast to the Lord throughout your generations. You shall keep it a feast by an ordinance forever.
Right. So basically, what we're saying is this is a Memorial Day for us, right? We're in this time right now, we're remembering it as a Memorial Day, right? We're remembering what the Lord did to free us up out of Egypt. Read 17, 15, Baba Kasha.
Come on. Come on. Verse 15. 7 days shall ye eat unleavened bread. Even the first day ye shall put away leaven out of your houses. For whosoever eateth leavened bread from the first day until the seventh day, that soul shall be cut off from Israel.
Right. So we were going through a time where we had to hurry up and get out of Egypt, right? The process of bread is you need that dough. You add a little leaven in it and it makes it rise. You let that dough sit for a couple of days and it rise, and then you're able to use it to bake, right? But we didn't have prep time like that. We had to hurry up, gather up everything and keep it moving, right? So we remember this because we didn't have time to do that. We have to remember what our forefathers did, right, to get out of captivity. We have to remember how they had to move quickly, right, to escape Egypt,
Right.
right. Shout out Trooper Satham from out of Montreal, right. Let's give a hand to that brother. He tuning in with us through again, Most High in Christ, you got your name, and we see you putting in that work. We see you putting in that work, and hopefully soon we get to link up, and we get to link up with Montreal, because we definitely miss our brothers, and we want to be with our brothers in these times, right? Where were we? Did you read 16? Can you read
Uh,
16, Baba Kasha?
come on, come on. Verse 16. And in the first day there shall be an holy convocation. And in the seventh day there shall be an holy convocation to you. No manner of work shall be done in them, save that which every man must eat, that only may be done of you.
Right. Salakia. Right. So these days are holy convocations. They're holy gatherings, right? We're supposed to remember these days and be like, listen, our forefathers and foremothers, they had to witness the plagues. They had to hurry up and get out of Egypt, and we're remembering it. And in remembering it, we're going to remember that the Most High, our power, saved us. Right. So Thuwada for sticking with me. I know I know it's one of those days, man. Thuwada we gonna get through it, Bubba Kashah. Bear with me just a little longer, Bubba
Con,
Kashah.
con, sis. Yes, sir.
Just a little longer. We gonna get through it. Right. Can you could jump down to 21?
Con, con. Verse 21. Then Moses called for all the elders of Israel and said unto them, draw out and take you a lamb according to your families, and kill the Passover.
You could read 22.
Verse 22. And ye shall take a bunch of hyssop, and dip it in the blood that is in the basin, and strike the lintel and the two side posts with the blood that is in the basin. And none of you shall go out at the door of his house until the morning.
Right. You do not want to get caught outside of your house. Your house with that blood on the two lintels on the doorpost, that was like a cloaking device. It hid you from the angel of death. The angel of death, he went out through the land and he was slaughtering. That angel of death was putting in that work, making sure that the Most High's judgment on Israel, on Salakia, on Egypt was going through. Right. You can read 23, Baba Kasha.
Come, come. For the Lord will pass through to smite the Egyptians. And when he seeth the blood upon the lintel and on the two side posts, the Lord will pass over the door, and will not suffer the destroyer to come in unto your houses to smite you.
Right. So you won't have to worry about the angel of death coming to kill you because you made a sacrifice unto the Lord. Right. You followed the commandment that the Lord set to Moses, that Moses told the children of Israel. You observe the Passover. Right. Uh read 25,
Come,
Baba
come.
Kasha.
Verse 25. And it shall come to pass when ye be come to the land, which the Lord will give you, according as he hath promised, that ye shall keep this service. Verse 26.
Khan.
And it shall come to pass when your children shall say unto you, what mean you by this service?
Right. So there's going to come a time when your children ask you, why are we doing this?
Right.
Right. And you're going to tell them because our forefathers did it. Right. We're remembering what our forefathers did to get out of captivity. We're remembering that they had to follow the Lord's commandments to get out of captivity. That's what this is telling you. You're not getting out of this captivity without following the Lord's commandments. It's just that simple. How do you expect the Lord to fight for you if you're not willing to do what he says? Right?
Right.
Read verse 27.
Verse 27. That ye shall say, it is the sacrifice of the Lord's Passover, who passed over the houses of the children of Israel in Egypt, when he smote the Egyptians and delivered our houses, and the people bowed the head and worshipped.
Right. So the people they had to be humbled. They had to know that the Most High is the reason why we're getting out of captivity. The Most High is the reason why we don't have to build up the 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 Pharaoh's cities. And you have to think about the hard bondage. They say that some of the pyramid stones weigh tons,
Right.
weigh double digit tons, right? Imagine lugging a 10 digit a 10 ton stone to build a pyramid. And some of these pyramids are tall as skyscrapers. And all the work that the children of Israel had to suffer to build these monuments that are still around, right? And they're still around to remind us, right? Now you find out that you're an Israelite, you read this book and you found out that you built those pyramids and you built the city of Ramses, and you see those monuments that are still there, right? And you have to ask yourself, well, damn, how did we get out from doing that? And then you're reminded that the Lord got you out, right? You can continue reading.
Verse 28. And the children of Israel went away and did as the Lord had commanded Moses and Aaron. So did they. Verse 29. And it came to pass that at midnight the Lord smote all the firstborn in the land of Egypt, from the firstborn of Pharaoh that sat on his throne unto the firstborn of the captive that was in the dungeon, and all the firstborn of cattle. Verse
Right?
30.
So you could hold that right there, right? So as the night of the Passover is going out and the children of Israel, they ate their lamb and they're in their house, the Lord's death angel is going out, right?
Right.
The angel of death is going out and he's smoting the Egyptians. He's killing the firstborn, from the babies to the cattle. Anything that was the firstborn died,
Right.
right? And the Lord did exactly what he said he was going to do, right? And now that the firstborn of Egypt died, they're realizing, well, damn, we were just supposed to let them go, right? And Pharaoh Pharaoh would have probably let us go after the first maybe 3 plagues, but the Lord didn't want that. That's not what he wanted. That's why he kept hardening Pharaoh's heart, right? Like, our oppressors know that the Black Hispanics and Native Americans are the Israelites. They know they could make right what they did to us, but they're not going to, because the Lord is hardening their hearts and he wants us to come back to him. Right? You can continue reading.
Verse 30. And Pharaoh rose up in the night, he and all his servants, and all the Egyptians. And there was a great cry in Egypt, for there was not a house where there was not one dead. Verse 31.
Right. So you're seeing that the Lord, he's killing everything. Right? He is not playing. Like, he's killing everything. And he's letting you know that you can't you can't do anything without him. The only way you're going to beat the oppressors is if the Lord does it for you.
Right.
Right? That's what's happening right here. You can't beat the Most High. Salakia. You can't beat the oppressor without the Lord helping you out. Right? How are you gonna do it? Just ask any Black, Hispanic, or Native American, what is the punishment for the oppressor? They will not have an answer. You ask them, how do you beat the oppressor? They're gonna tell you, you gotta vote. Right? They're gonna tell you, that's exactly what they're gonna say. They're gonna say, you gotta vote. Right? You can continue reading.
Come. Verse 31. And he called for Moses and Aaron by night, and said, Rise up, and get you forth from amongst my people, both you and the children of Israel, and go, serve the Lord as ye have said.
Right. So Pharaoh realizes, like, damn, I should have just let these people go from a long time ago. Like y'all got to get up and get the hell out. Right. Get up and get out right now. Right. Jump down to 34.
Come. And the people took their dough before it was leavened, their kneading troughs being bound up in their clothes upon their shoulders.
Right. Read 35.
Verse 35. And the children of Israel did according to the word of Moses, And they borrowed of the Egyptians jewels of silver and jewels of gold and raiment. Verse
Right. So the Egyptians wanted the children of Israel out so much after all that death and destruction that they gave them gold and silver, right? And you gotta think about when Yahushua comes back with those angels, the oppressors are going to be so beaten, so brought down, so humbled, right? That they're gonna want to do anything to make it right, but by that time it's gonna be too late, right? So that's what the Passover is, right? It's when the death angel passed over Egypt. The death angel spared the Israelites. Like the death angel spared the Israelites and killed the Egyptians, right? And that's what happened for us, and that's how we came out of bondage, right? Let's Salakia Baba Kasha. We got a few more things to read, and then we're gonna put a wrap to the class a little early. Um, can you bring me to Leviticus 23
Come.
and read verse 4, Baba Kasha.
Come. This is Leviticus chapter 23 and verse 4. These are the feasts of the Lord, even holy convocations, which ye shall proclaim in their seasons.
Right? So these are the feasts of the Lord's. This is letting you know your birthday doesn't mean nothing. Christmas means nothing. Your
Right.
Valentine's Day means nothing to the Lord because it's not in the book of Leviticus in the 23rd chapter. Right? Read verse 5.
Verse 5. In the 14th day of the first month at even is the Lord's Passover.
Right? The Lord's Passover, when he slaughtered the Egyptians to free up the children of Israel. Right? This is what we remember. We remember the Lord's Passover, and we're going to do it every year. Even when we have the kingdom, we're going to do it. Christ celebrated the Passover. That's what the Last Supper was. The Last Supper, right, was the Passover. Christ loved he celebrated the Passover, and he knew it was a celebration that was worthy. It was a high holy day that was worthy of Salakia. Christ with the Passover, he knew that we're supposed to celebrate this, right? He went and got the Salakia. I'm trying to remember the exact phrase, but it was like a upper room, like a ballroom for his brethren to celebrate. A nice room, a nice fancy room for his brethren, for the disciples to celebrate the Passover with him.
Right.
Right? Read verse 6.
Verse 6. And on the 15th day of the same month is the feast of unleavened bread unto the Lord. 7 days ye must eat unleavened bread. Verse 7.
Right? So we're supposed to eat unleavened bread for 7 days, right? The Feast of Unleavened Bread, it started Saturday night, carried on into Sunday night, right? Because in Israelite culture, we don't count our days by when the sun rises. When the sun sets, that's how we count our days. We're a peculiar people. We do things different from every other nation on earth. Right? Verse 7, Baba Kasha.
And the first day ye shall have an holy convocation. Ye shall do no servile work therein. Verse 8.
Right? Verse 8, Baba Kasha.
But ye shall offer an offering made by fire unto the Lord 7 days.
Right. That means we're gonna cook some good food. We're gonna do what what every Black, Hispanic, and Native American likes to do. We're
Right.
gonna have a cookout, right? And on that cookout, we're gonna have the best tasting lamb you've ever had on the grill with the bitter herbs, right? Read.
Salakia. In the seventh day is an holy convocation. Ye shall do no servile work therein. Verse 9. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, verse 10, speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, when ye be come into the land which I give unto you, and shall reap the harvest thereof, then ye shall bring a sheaf of the first fruits of your harvest unto the priests.
Right. So I brought out that one. I had Officer Shayon bring that one out. It's to let you know that our next holy convocation is going to be first fruits.
Right.
Right. This is what we're supposed to celebrate. While the world is gonna think that they're supposed to celebrate May 2 for a weekend in Canada, we're going to be celebrating first fruits. Now last year, first fruits was a pretty good gathering. We had a good gathering in Toronto, right? And it was full of brotherhood and sisterhood, right? And this year, Lord willing, we'll either be in Montreal, or Montreal will be able to make it down to Toronto for the first fruits, right? So we're gonna leave that right there, and we're gonna go into a a this the unleavened bread is also like a metaphor, right? A little bit of leaven will leaven up the whole lump, right?
Right.
And you got to get rid of that leaven in you, right? You definitely got to get rid of that leaven. We got to keep a standard, right? That the Most High wants. You got to not be a hypocrite, right? You got to be in the truth. That's why ICPK is home of the truth and not the home of the hypocrites, right? Baba Kasha, if you can bring me to First Corinthians 1, no, Salakia, First Corinthians 5 and 4. Let me find it myself as well.
Okay.
Right, bring me to First Corinthians 5 and 4. And I got it right quick. I'll read the first two for you, Baba Kasha. No sweat. Don't worry about it. Right.
Salaki, it's okay. I can read if you want.
Okay, Khan.
Salaki, sorry, I'm good.
Okay, Khan.
Um, this is the book of First Corinthians, chapter 5 and verse 4. In the name of our Lord Jesus Christ, when ye are gathered together, and my spirit with the power of our Lord Jesus Christ.
Right, read 5.
Verse 5. To deliver such a one unto Satan for the destruction of the flesh, that the spirit may be saved in the day of the Lord Jesus.
Right. So you basically, what this is saying is you gotta take out the leaven, right? And if you can't follow the laws of the Lord, right? If a brother can't follow the law of the Lord, and he can't take out the leaven that's puffing him up, right? He's going to be delivered onto Satan for destruction of the flesh, right? Salakia, what is destruction of the flesh?
Salakia, so that means to die.
Right. So he's going to die, right? The brother that can't follow is going to die, and He's not going to be saved, right? Now, let's because you got two Benjamites, right, in this class with you right now, we're going to break down something real quick, right? There was a time when the tribe of Benjamin was mad effeminate, when the tribe of Benjamin was homosexual, right? And
Right.
they were almost wiped out to the point where if some tribes didn't have pity on us and didn't give us ribs, we were going to be we weren't going to be the tribe of Benjamin anymore, right? We were going to be the tribe of nothing. The Benjamites would have died out, right? We would have been delivered to Satan for destruction, for death, right? And now the Benjamites, we know not to be homosexuals anymore, right? It's damn near in our spirit not to be homosexuals anymore, to the point where if you are a homosexual in any of the Benjamite islands, that's death. Like straight up death. You cannot be a homosexual and talk about you are uh you're gonna walk down the street. You can't walk down Portmore and Saint Elizabeth and in Kingston and in any of what they call the gully side or the Gaza, right? And talk about you're a homosexual, right?
Right.
Some Benjamite is gonna be like, "You're a boxer boy." Okay, hold up, 1 second,
God.
and
God.
cut you, and
God.
that's just how simple it is, right? Now in the Benjamite spirit, they know not to do that, right? So the spirit can be saved, right?
Right.
Da 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 da. Where are we? You could read verse 6.
Come, come. Your glorying is not good. Know ye not that a little leaven leaveneth the whole lump?
Right? We don't we like a pastor. We don't do this in the school, but a pastor wants to be around a sinner, right? They want to be around a sinner to they want to be glorying with the sinners, and that's not what we do. We don't want to celebrate we don't want to celebrate the Passover with sinners. Again, this is ISUPK, the home of the truth, right? Now, we might invite uh, a brother or sister who's not in the truth to show them brotherhood in hopes of them coming into the truth to to change, because we don't want our brothers and sisters to be part of the 2/3 or the 1/3. Salakia, if I got that wrong, right? But we want to save our brothers and sisters. We want them to basically come into the truth so they don't die, so they don't get the destruction, right? But in the Christian church, they don't care if you sin. They just want to be around you so they can get your tithes money. That's not what we do in the ISUPK, right? A little bit of leaven will leaven up the whole lump. Like a sinner will make you want to sin, right? You can't be saying you're in the truth, but you have friends in the world who sin, right? You can't be in the truth and be like, I'm in the truth, but my friends sell drugs. That you have to separate yourself, right? All of us that are in the school, we all have people that we basically cut off because we know hanging around them is not going to do us no good. It's just going to be a lot of temptation, right? You can't say you're in the truth and then be like, I want to go hang with some people who smoke weed, because then at the end of the day, you're gonna want to do what they do, right?
Right.
You could read verse 7.
Verse 7. Purge out therefore the old leaven,
Right.
that ye may be a new lump, as ye are unleavened. For even Christ our Passover is sacrificed for us.
Right. Like, break that last part down for us, Baba Kashar, if you can, Ak.
Cut on concert. So what this is saying, if I may, um, that leaven that puffs up a man, that's inside of us, that hypocrisy inside of us, the things that we struggle with, we have to remove out of us so that we can be a new lump, or a new person, basically. And
Right.
that it's speaking on a metaphor for removing the things that we struggle with out of our body or out of ourselves.
Right.
And we're doing that because uh, or not only are we doing that as a metaphor, to removing the leaven out of us, but it's also a metaphor that Christ is our Passover, right?
Right.
That
Right.
sacrifice that Christ made, Salakia, that lamb, or the representation of calling him a lamb, that sacrifice that he made was so that the angel of death would pass over us. Um,
Right. And
that's what that's saying.
Khan, and you could precept that with Luke 12:1, right? Beware ye of the leaven, right? You could, like, the Pharisees, they had the 11, right? They didn't tell you to avoid sin. They were doing sin, right? Think about Kurt Franklin, right? Where these Kurt Franklin said, "Hey, yo, are you with me?" And we used to sing those songs back when we were in the world, when we were younger, right? And we used to
Yeah,
think, man, Kurt Franklin, that man could dance and he could sing and he must be of the Lord, right? And then as you got older, you started to realize, wait, why is Kurt Franklin switching and doing all that stuff on stage like that? Like, it doesn't make sense. And then you started to realize, wait, maybe Kurt Franklin is effeminate. Maybe
God,
Kurt Franklin is maybe he's on the rainbow side of things, and not the rainbow that the Lord sent after the plagues, right? After he flooded the earth. Maybe Kurt Franklin is on the Church Street side of things, right? And if you're in Toronto, you don't want to be nowhere near Church Street.
right.
You just don't want to do it. Like, just stay away from Church Street if you're in Toronto. You'll thank me later.
God.
Right? So you got to kill off the old you and what puffs you up, right? Pride and proud ego. That's what puffs you up. It's hypocrisy. You got to get that out of you, right? You got to avoid sin. Christ is our Passover. He died for us, right? Right? Shalom, sis. Makwadash, Bafia Yahawada, right? She laughing, right? And the water for tuning in, everybody that's tuning in with us, right? Right. So you gotta basically kill off that old Jew. The old Jew is, here's an example, right? One day, my brother Shariwan, he helped me. This is a good brother, man. He's an excellent brother in this truth. He does excellent work, right? He's always here. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, I can't count on a class where Shariwan is not here to read for me, right? If I had to break this all down and read and talk at the same time, it'd be a long night for me, but Shariwan's here with me. Now, ask me if I remember Shariwan's first name. I don't. I know Shariwan. He helped me
God.
get into the union, and the man who runs the union said, "Hey, how'd you find out about this?" And I said, "Officer Shariwan." You're like, "What the hell are you talking about?" I'm like, "Damn!" Like, he killed off the old him. I don't even remember his name. Now Shariwan is a new
Yes.
man, right? Give a hand to that brother. Right? So you got to kill off the old you,
Right.
right? And that's what you do. You kill off the old you, and once you kill off the old you, you get the unleavened you get that leaven out of you, right? Now you're not going to be living in sin anymore. You're going to be like the unleavened bread, that sweet unleavened bread that the Lord loves, right? You could take me to verse 8.
And Salakia, sir, if I could add one quick thing.
Con.
Something I hear a lot from people outside the ISUPK is that they like to look at the men in the ISUPK as prideful and arrogant. And
Right.
I have met some of the most humble people once joining this school. You know what I mean? Like when I was outside the school watching Cross the Line and stuff like that, I used to think like, yo, these guys, like they're really kind of puffed up. You know what I mean?
Right.
But after getting to know brothers, like it takes a certain kind of man to say Khan out of one Khan, right? It takes a
Right.
certain kind of man to follow order, to humble himself, right? And to really learn these scriptures. So Salaki, that's all I wanted to say, sir.
Con, not that's definitely true because like saying con out of one con, yes, Lord, yes, that is a humbling thing, right? You that like now you're recognizing that there's someone above you, right? There's someone you have to answer to,
Okay.
right? And some people they have the leaven in them still. They haven't got rid of the leaven. Brothers and sisters in the world outside of the ISUPK have the leaven in them, and they're not humble, right? They want to take the Bible and use it to hurt. They want to do every sin. They want to love every oppressor. They want to sleep with anything that walks,
Right.
right? And they're just not humble. They just don't know what it's like to be humble, right?
Okay.
So that was definitely heavy because like when from the outside looking in, you look at the priests and prophets of the Lord and you say, well, damn, like these guys are on some next shit. Like what are they on? Like they think they're priests and prophets of the Lord. They think that they're Israelites in our bondage, right? Live in hell, where we're teaching right now, we're teaching live from hell, right? Outside of these school walls is hell, right?
Right.
When you walk in, it's like, I'll give you an example. A hot summer day, right? And it's just hot. It's you feel like you're dying outside, right? You walk into not Salakia, but you walk into 7-Eleven to go get a slushie, and you just feel that nice AC and the cool breeze, and you're like, where was this the whole time? That's ISUPK.
um,
That's what it feels like when you're in this school. It feels like outside feels like 40 degrees. In Canada, 40 degrees is hot. That I don't Salaki. I think that's like the hundreds for our brothers and sisters in the States, right? But in Canada, 40 degrees is don't go outside. And you walk into AC and some cool AC, some ice water or a nice slushy, right? And you're like, damn, this feels like a little slice of heaven right now. Just because your surroundings is hell, right? That's what the ISUPK feels like. It feels like a little slice of heaven, right? Salaki, you can read verse 8, Baba Kasha.
Come. Verse 8. Therefore, let us keep the feast not with old leaven, neither with the leaven of malice and wickedness, but with the unleavened bread of sincerity and truth.
Right. So you don't want to keep these feasts with sinners, right? You don't want to keep it with evil and malicious thoughts. Right? You don't want to be talking about we're going to be keeping this feast and now I'm planning to go murder someone, right? I'm about to eat this unleavened bread and then listen, we're about to go hit that nigga up right quick and go take his life and take all his drugs and all his money. Right? That's not how you keep these feasts. That's not what you do. What you do is you keep the law you change your life. You find out that you're Black, Hispanics, and Native American, and you're not just Black, Hispanic, and Native American, but you are the 12 tribes of Israel, and you have to change your life. You have to figure out like what you were doing wrong, and now you start to look at the world totally different, right? In the ICPK, you can't even watch a show anymore without analyzing it and saying, damn, like that, like this is messed up, right? The ICPK will flip. If you're in the world, the ICPK will flip your whole world upside down. But to the world outside of the school, it seems like upside down, but in the school, it's actually right side up.
Yeah.
Right? So you basically, what I'm saying is you gotta clean up yourself.
Right.
Right? So that's basically our breakdown for the Unleavened. Officer Sharywan, can you drop those the sign out links? Baba Kasha.
So,
Salakia. I'm gonna get the security announcements. Give me one moment while you drop the sign out link. So I'm gonna come back and we're gonna drop the security announcements. We're gonna say a prayer. We're gonna security announcements, say 2 prayers, and then we're gonna end the class. The water for everybody that was tuning in. Don't forget, in about 12 minutes, Commander General Yohana will be going live on Blackwatch with the heavy hitters. Don't forget, like, subscribe, and share to this channel. Right? If you're not in the school and you are watching this, hit that sign-in link. Get you a Hebrew name, right? Change your life. Get that leaven out of you so you can become that sweet unleavened bread with a little bit of honey in it, man. Because that unleavened bread is it hits different. That it hit different, man. Like, hold up, 1 second, Baba Kasha. Bear with me.
Come.
Right, the water for those signing links, Ak. Again, don't forget, Commander Johnny Hana will be going live in just a few on Blackwatch. Hit that sign-in link and sign out link to get you a Hebrew name. I'm gonna do the security announcements, then we're gonna say a prayer. ISUPK security announcements. We are the ISUPK, started out at 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Rule for new brothers and sisters. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shut themselves to the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There is another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. After this 6-month period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithe, which is a commandment, Numbers 18 and 21, and Malachi 3, verses 8 to 10. Ma'ashara, which means 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you, give to the treasury department or teacher. Priest fund, free will offering for priests, not mandatory, whatsoever amount you would like. Up and coming holy convocations. The next up and coming holy convocation is the Feast of First Fruits. Salakia. Check ICPK.com or ICPK Canada on Facebook or on Instagram for the exact date for Feast of First Fruits. We will be getting to you shortly. Reminder, Akim and Aqua to check the ICPK.com for any up and coming announcements. If anybody wants to be a trooper in the school, start wearing all black: boots, shirts, pants, headband, and scarf. With that said, we're going to say the Lord's Prayer. Men of Israel, Akwathim watching, Imajim, which means to stand, Sarapanya Hakodam, which means turning face to east. We're going to say the Lord's Prayer. In the Hebrew, as ISUPK tradition, and then we're going to read it in the English. The Lord's Prayer in the Hebrew, Abanawa,
Abanawa,
Shabbat Shemayim,
Shabbat Shemayim,
Kodash,
Kadash,
Ayah,
Ayah,
Shemka,
Shemka,
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Malakwavka,
Malakwavka,
Taba'ah,
Taba'ah,
Ratazakah,
Ratazakah,
Hayah,
Hayah,
Aisha,
Aisha,
Ba'aratazah,
Baratazah,
Kawa,
Kawa,
Hayah,
Hayah,
Bashamayim,
Bashamayim,
Lathanlanawa,
Lathan Lanao,
Lakam,
Lakam,
Ka,
Ka,
Yawam,
Yawam,
Wasalaknawa,
Wasalak Lanao,
Kawaknawa,
Kawaknao,
Kasalaknawa,
Wasalaknao,
Kawathinawa,
Kawakyanao,
Wala'ah,
Wala'ah,
Tabayanawa,
Labayanao,
Banasaiwan,
Banasayawan,
Abal,
Abal,
Awashainawa,
Mawashayanao,
Mayan,
Mayan,
Rai,
Rai,
Kaya,
Kaya,
Laka,
Laka,
Hamalakwath,
Mamalakwa,
Waha'ala,
Waha'ala,
Wahatha Parath,
Wahatha Para,
La'ai Walamyam,
La'ai Walamyam,
Aman.
Aman. In
What we
English,
just read in the English, Our Father,
Our Father,
which art in heaven,
which art in heaven,
hallowed be thy name,
hallowed be thy name,
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Thy kingdom come,
Thy kingdom come,
thy will be done,
thy will be done,
in earth
in earth,
as it is in heaven.
as it is in heaven.
Give us this day
Give us this day
our daily bread,
our daily bread,
and forgive us our debts,
and forgive us our debts,
as we forgive our debtors.
as we forgive our debtors.
Lead us not into temptation,
And lead us not into temptation,
but deliver us from evil.
but deliver us from evil.
For thine is the kingdom,
For thine is the kingdom,
and the power,
and the power,
and the glory,
and the glory,
forever so be it.
forever so be it.
We're going to say the prayer for bless Israel, the bless Israel prayer. Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Ba'asham,
Ba'asham,
Yahweh Shai,
Yahweh Shai,
Barak Lanawa,
Barak Lanawa,
Wa Yashra'ala,
Yashra'ala,
Waha Bayath,
Wahabayath,
Sapariam,
Sapariam,
Barak,
Barak,
Rapa'ah,
Rapa'ah,
Magun,
Magun,
Hagun,
Hagan.
right? If you have a loved one's name, you could say it. After I say the name, repeat it once, right? Officer Yerad,
Officer Yerad,
Ba'asham,
Ba'asham,
Yahweh Shai,
Yahweh Shai,
Tawada Aman.
Tawada Aman.
What we just read in English, Lord, in the name of
Lord, in the name of
Yahweh Shai,
Yahweh Shai,
bless us
bless us
and Israel
and Israel
and the school.
and the school.
Bless,
Bless,
heal,
heal,
shield,
shield,
protect,
protect.
Officer Yerad,
Officer Yerad,
in the name of Yahweh Shai,
in the name of Yahweh Shai.
thank you, so be it.
Thank you, so be it.
Men of Israel, Akwathi, I'm watching, Sar. We're going to give a quick courtesy salute to the brothers and the sisters. Men of Israel, Imajim Shabbat. Imajim, Barak, Yahweh Ba'asham, Yahweh Shai, Barak Atah. Yad Yamatah, which means hands down. Men of Israel, we're going to give a courtesy salute to the sisters. Men of Israel, Imajim Shabbat. Imajim, Barak, Yahweh Shamar Alataba Asham Yahshai. Men of Israel Yajamata, which means hands down. Class dismissed. Clap it up. Don't forget to check out Blackwatch. It's going to be live just now. Don't forget to check out Blackwatch. It's going to be live at 9 o'clock.